Module Overview. This first module lays the intellectual, observational, and philosophical groundwork for the entire course. You will be immersed in the historical evolution, cultural relevance, and technical frameworks of still life and realism as distinct yet intertwined disciplines in visual art. The module combines theory, history, studio exercises, and reflective practices to train your visual perception, compositional logic, and cognitive awareness of how we see the world versus how we represent it on a flat surface. It introduces key artistic principles like form, structure, proportion, value, spatial relationships, and light behavior, all of which serve as the backbone for realistic art. This module is intentionally broad yet intricate, creating a cognitive and technical scaffold upon which the rest of the course will be built. 1. Historical evolution of still life and realism. Ancient and classical beginnings. Egyptian tomb paintings. Early forms of object recording food, tools, flowers used in burial chambers. Greco-Roman frescoes and mosaics. Illusionism. Depiction of feasts, vases, fruits, the use of shadows and three-dimensionality. Global influences, Chinese ink traditions, philosophical symbolism in still life depictions, Persian miniatures, decorative detail and object storytelling, the Western canon Renaissance realism, Da Vinci, Caravaggio, and the evolution of optical realism, Baroque still life, Dutch Golden Age and Flemish influence, Vanitas, opulence, memento mori. Academic realism of the 19th century, focus on labor, peasants, everyday objects, Courbet, Millet. Contemporary realism, hyperrealism, photorealism, and digital realism, Chuck Close, Audrey Flack, Roberto Bernardi. 2. Philosophical and aesthetic foundations. Why still life? Capturing the essence of the ordinary. Practicing intentional observation and patience. Understanding composition and symbolic meaning through non-human subjects. Realism as truth and illusion. Mimesis, art as imitation, Plato, Aristotle. Phenomenology, perception of objects and their presence in space. Emotional realism, beyond appearance, narrative, realism and psychological depth. Symbolism in objects, religious and spiritual objects. Cultural and domestic artifacts, political and economic symbolism, e.g., food scarcity, excess. 3. Core concepts of still life and realism. Form and structure. Analyzing the geometric breakdown of objects, cylinder, cube, sphere, cone. Volume versus shape. Understanding mass and contour. Perspective and proportion. 1-point, 2-point, and 3-point perspective applied to objects, foreshortening and overlap, composition and framing, rule of thirds, golden mean, dynamic symmetry, positive versus negative space, depth of field and camera-like cropping techniques, value, tone, and light logic, light source behavior, natural versus artificial, core shadow, cast shadow, reflected light, highlight, halftone, creating depth and dimensionality, using value transitions, texture and surface reading. Introduction to rendering techniques, cross-hatching, blending, stippling. Study of basic surfaces, wood, glass, fabric, ceramic. 4. Studio exercises and practical projects. Observation training daily, sketch warm-ups of single objects from life. Blind contour drawing and gesture studies. Simple still life setup. Arranging 3 to 5 objects with a single light source. Practicing tonal value scales before rendering. Photography and realism. Taking your own photo references. Analyzing light behavior in controlled environments. 5. Key takeaways. By the end of Module 1, you will understand the origin and evolution of still life and realism traditions. Grasp the philosophical underpinnings of mimetic representation. Be able to identify and apply core visual principles. Proportion, value, form, light. Set up and render a simple still life using basic media and techniques. train their eye for subtle observations, light shift, texture differentiation, and spatial,